What's up, Dodgers fans? The buzz around the trade deadline is starting to heat up, even though we're still some time away from July 31st. And let's be honest, with how this Dodgers season is unfolding, it's hard not to start imagining who could walk through that clubhouse door next. Injuries have been hammering our pitching staff once again, and while the team tried to patch up the holes in the offseason, it's looking more and more like reinforcements will be needed. If this roster is going to be strong enough for a deep October run, rumors are already circulating, and one name that popped up this week is sparking some big debates. Walker Buehler. Yeah, you heard that right. Buehler's name is back in the Dodgers conversation, though not in the way many might have expected. After heading to Boston in the offseason and signing a one-year deal worth just over $21 million, Buehler has had a bit of a roller coaster year. But before we get too deep into stats and projections, let's rewind a bit. During the winter, when everyone was glued to their phones watching to see which arms would land where, Buehler's free agency caught a lot of attention, especially from Dodgers fans who hoped there might be a reunion on the table. After all, this is a guy who's delivered in big playoff moments, someone who knows what it means to pitch under pressure in Los Angeles, but despite the connection, the Dodgers never really seemed like serious players in bringing him back. Instead, the front office focused on fresh faces like Blake Snell and Roki Sasaki, plus the always reliable Clayton Kershaw coming back into the fold. The rotation looked solid on paper. That was before injuries started tearing through it like wildfire. Now here we are, not even at the deadline yet, and the whispers are already out there. Could Buehler make his way back to the Dodgers in a mid-season trade? The idea got some traction when ESPN's Jeff Passan pointed out that if the Dodgers are truly aiming to hit October with a full healthy rotation, Buehler might be one of the most logical fits out there. And on paper, it makes sense. He's familiar with the organization. He's pitched well in the postseason. He knows the city, the culture, and what it takes to wear that uniform when the pressure is on. But that's just the surface. Because once you start digging into the reality of the situation, things get a little more complicated. For starters, Ken Rosenthal recently weighed in on the situation and basically threw cold water on the idea. According to him, the Red Sox still believe in this team they've built, and even though their record hasn't taken off yet, they're not ready to wave the white flag and start selling off pieces, especially not someone like Buehler, who was one of their marquee additions over the offseason. Think about it. Boston didn't build this team to tank. They went all in by acquiring guys like Garrett Crochet and throwing a massive contract at Alex Bregman, hoping to make a push in the American League East. Sure, things haven't clicked yet, but we're not even halfway through the season. There's still time, and if Bregman returns and starts heating up, that entire lineup could catch fire. That's the gamble Boston is holding on to. They don't want to unload a guy like Buehler just to collect prospects and shift the focus to some rebuild mode, especially when they're still within reach of a wild card spot. And then there's the trade history. You don't have to go too far back to remember the uproar when the Red Sox sent Mookie Betts to Los Angeles. That move still haunts a chunk of their fan base, sending Buehler back to the Dodgers, where he could potentially help push them to another World Series would be a PR nightmare if things don't pan out for Boston. From that perspective, it's not just about numbers and contracts, it's also about optics, and the Red Sox front office knows it. From the Dodgers side, the interest in someone like Buehler is totally understandable. He hasn't been lights out in every start this year, but with a 4-3 record and an ERA hovering around 4.44, he's shown flashes. His whip's a little higher than ideal at 1.31, but the bottom line is he's the type of arm that could make a huge difference in a postseason series. The Dodgers don't need another regular season innings eater. They need someone who can step onto the mound in October and give them a shot at a win. And no matter what the stats say right now, Buehler's proven he can do that. So would bringing him back be a smart move? On paper, yes. The fit is there. The experience is there. The postseason pedigree is undeniable. But between Boston's reluctance to sell and the history between these two franchises, it's hard to picture this deal going down without a serious shift in the Red Sox's outlook over the next month or so. That being said, we've seen crazier things happen at the trade deadline. Teams that look like buyers suddenly become sellers after a losing streak. Others get hot and hold on to their guys. It's a delicate balance, and the next few weeks will tell us a lot about how aggressive the Dodgers plan to be. Because make no mistake, This team has its eyes on October, and everything between now and then is about making sure the roster is ready when the lights get bright. There's something special about the way the Dodgers approach this time of year. While other teams are cautiously waiting for the standings to dictate their next move, Los Angeles is already dissecting the landscape, identifying opportunities, and preparing to pull the trigger when the moment is right. That's the luxury of having a front office like theirs. One that's been here before and knows how quickly a season can change. Injuries have taken their toll again, and while the names on the injured list keep piling up, the front office isn't sitting back and hoping for the best. They're planning, evaluating, and getting ready to strike. Now, if you look at the current makeup of the roster, it's clear the team still has strengths. Offensively, there's firepower. The lineup can produce runs. And even with a few cold stretches, this group has the potential to be lethal come October. The concerns lie mostly in the pitching department. The loss of arms throughout the year has created a sort of revolving door in the rotation. Every time it feels like stability is on the horizon, another injury sets the team back. And that's where a guy like Buehler comes into the picture again. The Dodgers aren't just looking for an arm. They're looking for someone who's been out through the fire, someone who's battled on the biggest stage and come out the other side. Buehler's history with the Dodgers is rich. This isn't some rental conversation about a pitcher who's unfamiliar with the expectations of playing in Los Angeles. This is a guy who has delivered in critical games, faced down lineups stacked with all-stars, and thrived under pressure. That experience matters in a postseason setting when one or two pitches can change the outcome of an entire series. Having someone on the mound who's been there before is a massive advantage. That's something not every team has. And it's something the Dodgers absolutely value. But let's circle back to Boston. Their current situation is complicated. The American League East is always a gauntlet. Even when a team looks strong on paper, the reality of facing tough divisional opponents week in and week out can quickly humble anyone. The Red Sox find themselves in that spot right now. Not quite out of it, but not dominating either. And while it would be easy for them to justify holding on to their core and pushing forward, there's a legitimate risk in doing so. If they wait too long and things don't turn around, they could miss their window to get real value back for some of these high-profile players. That's the delicate balancing act they're facing. Trading Buehler wouldn't be a signal that Boston is giving up. It could be reframed as a strategic move, a way to shift resources and strengthen other parts of the roster. But again, that depends on the team's belief in its own chances this year. If the front office truly thinks a postseason run is still possible, it's hard to imagine them parting with someone they paid over $21 million to secure just a few months ago. For the Dodgers, it's about positioning. The front office isn't looking to overhaul the entire roster at the deadline. They're not chasing superstars or making desperate swings. What they want are key pieces, targeted, impactful additions that can fill specific roles. A left-handed, bat off the bench perhaps, more bullpen depth. And yes, a starting pitcher who can step into the rotation and hold his own when it matters most. Buehler checks that last box, but he's not the only name out there. The trade market is always unpredictable. And as other teams begin to reveal their true identities, whether they're contenders or pretenders, new options will emerge. That said, there's always something poetic about reunions in baseball. Fans love them. There's a comfort in seeing a familiar face back in the uniform, especially when that player has history with the team. And for someone like Buehler, who was developed in the Dodgers system, who made his name with this franchise, and who delivered on some of the biggest stages in the sport wearing Dodger blue, wow. The idea of him returning feels like more than just a strategic move. It feels like unfinished business. It feels like destiny. But before we move forward, don't forget to join our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest news about the Los Angeles Dodgers. We love to hear your thoughts on the news, so drop a comment below. In a development that has sent shockwaves through Major League Baseball circles, rumors are swirling about Freddie Freeman's potential departure from the Los Angeles Dodgers. While no official statement has been released by the player or the organization, multiple sources close to the situation suggest that Freeman has informed teammates and front office personnel of his intention to leave the team at the conclusion of the current season. If these reports prove accurate, Freeman's Exit would mark the end of a significant chapter in both his career and the Dodgers' recent history. The veteran first baseman, who signed with Los Angeles in 2022 after a storied career with the Atlanta Braves, has been a cornerstone of the Dodgers' offensive lineup and a key figure in their postseason runs. His consistency at the plate, leadership in the clubhouse, and presence in the community have made him a fan favorite at Chavez Ravine. Speculation about Freeman's next destination is already rampant. Some insiders believe he may be considering a return to Atlanta, where he spent the first 12 seasons of his career and won an MVP award and a World Series title. Others suggest that Freeman could be exploring opportunities closer to his family or in a market where he can assume a new leadership role on an emerging contender. Adding to the intrigue are the Dodgers' internal dynamics and long-term plans. With a pipeline of talented young players and an ever-present appetite for blockbuster moves, Los Angeles may be preparing for a roster transition, creating the space and financial flexibility to pursue other stars or extend their younger talent. Freeman's potential departure could accelerate such a shift, altering the balance of power in the National League. While Dodgers fans are understandably anxious about this development, it is important to emphasize that at this point, these are unconfirmed reports. Neither Freeman nor the Dodgers front office have publicly addressed the situation, leaving room for both hope and skepticism. Nevertheless, the mere possibility of such a high-profile move is enough to dominate headlines and spark debates across the baseball world. As the season progresses and the trade deadline approaches, all eyes will remain fixed on Los Angeles and Freddie Freeman's next move. Whether this is merely a rumor or the beginning of a new chapter in Freeman's illustrious career, one thing is certain: the baseball landscape could be on the verge of a significant shakeup. That's all for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay up to date with exclusive news about the Los Angeles Dodgers, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We always appreciate your comments and feedback. See you in the next video.